Hey guys, and welcome to another tank review. Today we're going to be covering the M18 Hellcat. Now this is a Tier 6 American tank destroyer that's probably been reviewed a lot in the past, but is now a vehicle that you don't often see in Tier 6. Why? Because it got nerfed, believe that or not. A tank that previously had, if I remember correctly, 13 or 15 millimeters of armor got nerfed. Yeah. That's right, it got it got nerfed. But let's just look at the tank a little bit here. So, it's got fairly average hit points for a Tier 6 tank destroyer of 570. It's ridiculously light, 21.8 maximum ton. 460 horsepower to the engine. Meh. 72 top speed. Yeah, I miss those days. It used to have a 72 top speed. Now you simply don't get that. It got nerfed, the speed, when it got nerfed, the speed got dropped from 70, where it could basically keep up with the Cromwell. It got nerfed from that kind of speed down to what it is now, which is like 50. If you could still get up to 70, I would love to see that, because I've never seen this vehicle go 70 since it got nerfed. The traverse speed of the tank is fairly quick. The armour is of course abysmal. 12 all round. Now the turret is a bit of a weird one. You've got 76 armour on the front, 31 millimeters on the side, and then 127 millimeters on the rear of the turret. I'm just going to let that sink in with you guys for a second, okay? 127 millimeters on the rear of the turret. That's right, you heard me correctly. This tank is statistically stronger on its arse end than it is on the front. Believe that or not, however, that's not to account, of course, for the gun manlet and the spaced armor and blah 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 blah. Things of which, stats that I can't really show you, but hey. So, if you're coming to this tank from the T67, obviously we're going to start off with the stock 76mm gun, so we'll just quickly show you here. Is probably the A1, you then upgrade. Is the A1 or the A2? I don't know and I don't really care. But you do upgrade then to a Tier 7 90mm gun, which for this tank is bloody brilliant. Now again, this is where the stats kind of change a little bit. This gun used to reload at 6.19 seconds. It now reloads at 7.33, which gives it a fairly nice rate of fire of 7.6 rounds a minute. 7.06, sorry. The turret traverser, again, used to be a lot faster than this, but since he got nerfed in every aspect just possible, the traverse speed on the turret dropped quite a lot. Now, the view range on this tank. Now, if you ask any Hellcat driver, what equipment should I put on this tank? They'll probably tell you binos and a camo net, because the camo rating on this tank destroyer is phenomenal. And with the as you can see here, with the stereoscope, you get a 487 meter view range when it's deployed. Combine that with sitting in a bush, you can see anything before it sees you. Even at tier 10, you're going to see if you get this in a tier 10 battle, I hope to God you don't fail platoon by doing that, but you're going to see tier 10s before they see you, and you're going to see them a lot sooner than they're going to see you. Even the scout tanks. This tank destroyer is like a scout tank. It's for flanking, which is what the speed was for. It was really good at flanking, and the gun just performed really well. It still performs really well. I mean, what's the accuracy on this thing? It's got a 1.7 aiming time, and it has 0.35 accuracy, which is really damn good. It's pretty accurate, and it's got a fast aiming time. And of course the signal range, but bleh. Let's take a look at the research tree quickly, and then I'll show you some gameplay. Yeah, that's a lot of guns, right? But at the end of the day, you already have that one unlocked, so you can just unlock this. And even then, do you have the A2 from the T67? Nope, you don't. So you've got to go through the A2, which is basically a faster fire rate than the A1. You then get the turret, and then of course you get the meaty little gun that makes this tank so special. That 90mm AT gun M3. So enough of my rambling. Let's throw this thing into a game and see how it performs. Of course, a replay, by that I mean. So this is the first replay I'm going to show you. I can't really remember this game, however, it does take up a lot more memory on my hard drive. Yeah, believe that, alright, well, that takes replay taking up a lot of memory. I'm just joking, it just takes up like 100 more kilobytes than the next smallest one. So simply what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you guys what this replay is all about. Blah 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 blah. Oh God, slow down. So here's where I this guy Polly is a guy I meet up with. He's a friend. He's now one of my friends on one of the tanks. I play with him a lot actually. So you can see me here doing. I now remember this replay just from saying that. This does turn out to be a fairly good win. So I'm just using the old tactic here of sitting behind a bush with a Hellcat. Really, I should be sitting in the bush. However, there is scout tanks behind me, going forward. I don't really have to worry about going forward. I'm not going to take my eyes too far away from where I want to be aiming, because there's no need for me to be. I decided I wanted to look over there a little bit, see if I can get a shot. And I decided no, I'm going to look in their base because I know there's usually a camping heavy tank along that sea line. I do decide to push into the bush eventually, and lo and behold, I spot something. And I think I completely total this VK. But regardless, the replay I wanted to show you guys was of a platoon. And that was of myself and one of my clan mates. He was in a Jackson, or another Hellcat, and I was also in a Hellcat. And we completely tore it up. It was a crucial contribution, a high caliber, and a top gun in I think it was a tier 7 match, or a tier 6. It was a tier 7 or a tier 6 match. Still pretty damn good for a low tier. It's the ARL we rip up. That's right. So very narrow shot here. Can the Hellcat make it? Yes, it can. Have no doubt in your mind that this tank will destroy you in any way it sees fit if it can hit you. And look at that reload. Just the 7 point. If you'd had a 6-second reload like you used to be, this tank would be phenomenal. An unfortunate bounce there, but hey, we can move on with that in the safe knowledge that we're going to be able to kill other stuff. Now, this tank does only hold 30 shells, so when you find yourself in a game like the game I was in with my platoon mate, where you're running a little bit low on ammunition, you find yourself in a bit of a predicament, especially with the loadout I have. I have 15 rounds of AP, 5 APCR, and 10 HE. Because this tank does get into the sort of matches where HE can actually be useful, believe it or not. I mean, if I shot HE that Crusader, his ass would be toasted. This tank can easily destroy that thing. It's like a Sherman can easily one-shot a, even if it's using the 76mm, can easily one-shot a Marder 38T. Putting a lovely old shot into that Sherman there. He doesn't know who we are, of course. Old Hellcat troll. Wait for him to come out, and kaboom, he's dead. Now, we finally decide that we've had enough of that E2 Sherman, and you can guess what's coming. Now, dependent with the E2, depending on really where I can penetrate him. If he is, of course, using the turret I would assume and hope he's using, I'm not going to be able to penetrate him in the turret, because he's going to have a lot of armour no matter where I shoot him, and I doubt I'm going to have the ability to penetrate that.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
The unsuspecting tier 4 tank destroyer gets slapped in the face by a Hellcat. Now at this point we've done a lot of damage covering the centre, covering a little bit of the left, and we've obviously taken out the main threat on the right side, which of course was the E2 Sherman. Now we decide that what we want to do is simply push the enemy base. We know there's an ARL there, we know there's a Marder 38T there. Of course, the ARL being the obvious threat. We know we can one-shot him due to the amount of health we left him on. And of course you do have the artillery there. And if I remember correctly, there is something else down there. It's the that Panzer? Is it? No, the VK, sorry, the VK, that's what it is. That VK is down there as well. However, we don't know this yet. I know this because I'm just recalling the game for what it was. Now, we come up here, instead of going for the 38T, the ARL is of course the big threat. A 38T is something I don't care about that much. And even then, he decides he wants to bum rush. Easy kill, no worries. So now we decide we're going to rush down here. I can't remember if this is Top Gun. It's definitely a high caliber. I remember that. But we've rushed down here anyways. In the very hopeful hope that we're going to get a Top Gun here. Now, this VK has not been spotted. So we don't know where he is. So we can only assume. Now, I've got APCR loaded here because I don't want to be firing AP and then randomly firing HE. So I want to make it secure in the knowledge that I am firing for definite APCR. Come around this corner, high speed with a T-67 up my back or side. Where is he? Where is he? So we keep patrolling around the coast. We haven't spotted him yet. Now this tank, the VK, it's a tier 5 heavy tank, German, and we haven't found it. Where could it possibly be? I mean, you'd think for a heavy tank it would be pretty easy to bloody see. And in a Hellcat, geez, you got the view out to see that thing a billion times over. So, I was thinking to myself, he's going to be around this corner. I know he's going to be around this corner. He's going to be going to the cap. And that's where he is. I thought to myself, oh shit. You know, I do take a hit. My tracks absorb it. I know he's got a good reload, but he doesn't have the damage to be able to trade shots with me. I've got the gun, and I've got the alpha damage to be able to 3-shot his tank. T-67 there, getting a bit brave. I'll wait for him to put another shot in so I can confirm the kill, and there's the Top Gun. Again, that was a Top Gun and high caliber. That was a fairly good game, and one that I'm fairly proud of in my Hellcat. One that I'm very proud of. What I'm going to do instead of doing a live gameplay with this thing now is I'm going to show you another replay. Can't remember how well it goes, but again, this is really dependent on whether it actually wants to work. So, I'll see you in the next one. Yeah, that's right. A tier 8 game. I knew there was something special about this replay. But let's see how it goes. This is an assault. I believe we're attacking. Yeah, we're attacking. I'm just going to skip the boring old thing that nobody wants to see. The time. Blah, 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 good God. That is really fast when it gets going, isn't it? Christ. So, yeah. What you obviously missed there was that I did drive around to the eastern flank and go up this hill. You did miss that part. However, it did happen. So this is also a place, funnily enough, where if you like to counter artillery does like to sit up in this area. Why? Because it's high ground, you can see everywhere, and there's no rocks getting in your way. Unless something is obviously below the rocks, and you're not a British artillery. Like what I clearly am not. I'm an American tank destroyer. So I'm just going to sit here. The Comet's going to spot for us. VK comes out. Unfortunately, his tracks bite that. That should have gone through and taken off a large portion of his tank. We hit him again. This time, it goes through and makes him regret coming around the corner because he did also get hit by something else. I believe we lead the shot. We lead the shot, and he bites the dust. Now we're just going to keep sitting here because we've got the view range to be able to see over there. So the initial plan here is just to sit tight. Comet, they're taking a bloody big hit. Obviously from an attack from, as is on the map there, probably a Lurve. Now, shot falling short there of the turret of the Cromwell. Is he going to pull in? Yep, he's going to pull in now because he just got hit for 225 damage. Sorry, 252 damage by a Hellcat. Now, he's going to be thinking to himself, if I come around that corner again, there's a likelihood I'm going to get shot. So do I go around that corner again? Is the question. And the answer, of course, would then be yes, because that's just typical of World of Tanks players. When in danger, go around the corner again. However, what I've done now is I believe I've moved from the position where I could really get accurate shots on this guy. Try to put a blind one there into that Jagdpanther. And instead a Sturmil comes around the corner. And of course that's just free damage on a plate really, isn't it? That looked like a very expensive premium fire extinguisher right there. And is he going to come? No, he's not going to come around the corner. Oh, what's that? The Comet's showing his face again. Oh! Didn't go through. Oh, it landed right on the sand dune in front of him. And that Sturmil is on 60 HP. He did not have a good game. He really didn't. He suffered a lot during this battle, to say the least. So, in a moment we're going to relocate. I think we try and put one more shot into this Comet before we decide that we want to move. Can't quite get the outline of the tank there, or the slightest smidgen of a shot. And of course can't shoot this Sturmil. And only now just looking at it, I only realised they have an AMX-40 on their team. That's a little bit concerning for their team. Of course he'd have no trouble killing this tank if he shot it in the hull. But you know what some people are like. They, instead of shooting this tanks in the obvious weak spots, they decide to shoot them in the strong points. It's like shooting an STA-1. The obvious place not to shoot it is the turret, considering the tank is literally paper. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go sit up in this bush. Now, as soon as our binos deploy, that Comet's going to get spotted. Wait for it. There we go. He's been spotted. Now, he's probably thinking, meh. It's probably the Hellcat from over that corner again. But wait for it. Okay, there's another shot in here. Is he tracked? No, he's not tracked. He's just sitting there and taking the damage. When I get one into his hull, I think I've been spotted by the T-150 there. Comet appears to be looking. The Comet is looking at me, but it's all over for him. He can't really do anything to me. Now this T-150 is just meat for the grinder, really. I don't really need to do much for him to die. T-150 is just, like I said, it is meat for the grinder against the Hellcat. Artie there getting the final blow on him. We see there's a T-28 over there. Coming up along the K-line to get behind and support this flank. Take a nasty little jump there, a little bit of a dive. Bit of a stupid moment. Didn't quite look at the terrain properly before I moved. This, I do push up now and I'm not sure if the yes... Yet the Bulldog gets it. And of course now, the problem of the Lurve arises. Now, who gets the first hit? Who gets the first hit? Is the Bulldog going to go over? I will. I'm definitely going to go over and do that. And of course, the Bulldog being a Bulldog is going to take the shot. Now, T-28, that's a problem tank. A lot of armour on the front. But what happens if you get back to the side? Now, as you can see here, I am already loading. I've got the APCR there. I had to think for a second. Ready to load as soon as this shot is fired. So my tank crew know what shells I want to load after I expend this shell. Now, This is going to get awkward. This is going to get awkward. Can I get it?
Target acquired.
Auto aim. Oh, it's going through. It's turning. It turns. Oh. Oh my god, we get him.
Ready to fire.
I remember that moment. It was so intense. Really intense stuff there. And of course, we get the IS-2 as well. That was a fantastic result, if I'm correct. Again, that was a high caliber. A tier 6 tank destroyer acquiring a high caliber in a tier 8 game. Phenomenal. But guys, if this hasn't encouraged you to get the Hellcat or revisit the Hellcat because you feel like it got a little bit of bad love, in fact, I felt it got a bit of bad love, but to me, it doesn't seem to have changed the way the tank plays. In fact, it makes me want to play more cautiously and play the tank the way it's supposed to be played, instead of as an aggressive or brawling, quote, I want to do the weird 69-99 thing with my fingers here, and say brawling medium tank, because this tank simply does not perform like that. It is a tank destroyer with that accuracy and that view range. It is definitely a sniper, and with the armor as well. Come on, you can't really say that this tank is for close quarters. It is for flanking because of the high speed, sniping, and being hull down, and just being a genuine sneaky bastard tank. That is what this tank is. So, guys, if you've got the Hellcat, go and revisit it. If you've not played it since it got patched or nerfed. And if you're looking towards a good tank destroyer line, or just a good tank destroyer in general, the Hellcat is a good all-round tank destroyer. It makes a lot of credits from my personal experience, because I find it hard to do bad with this tank. It really is difficult to do. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. This is all I can really show you of this tank, because you rarely get a bad result in a Hellcat, and I mean that. So guys, I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next one. Adios.